Hey everybody, welcome back. Northernlion plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. 16 wins in a row. Like, it's supposed to be hard, but it's not. It's not hard at all. BW3911YV. I'm realizing now, oh, let's do it. Let's get weird. Oh, no. I regret suggesting that it was not going to be hard. This is not a bad run. This is not my bad run. Letting the... Hold on. I actually think I want to lower my microphone again. If you'll forgive me, I had another Google meeting. No, do not disable microphone. If I could possibly... Letting the days go by, okay, something like that feels a little bit more well-balanced. Okay, I apologize. I don't necessarily think this run is going to be difficult. But I do think that, you know, 48 rate of fire, 4.61 damage is a little spicy, but red candle is obviously like the great equalizer there. I also apologize, I might sound a little different. This is going to sound like, didn't you tell this story before? These are two separate incidents, I'm loath to admit. I ate some food that was too hot a couple of nights ago, and now my tongue hurts a little bit. Got a little spot on my tongue that is, like, you know, damaged and healing. Why don't you ever learn your lesson? Well, the thing is, I don't know. But then the other thing is, you think that would have been a lesson, you know, you would learn when you were, like, single-digit age. Not, you know, like, oh, now that I'm finally 32, it's time to get serious. But I guess I've just kind of accepted it as acceptable to me, for whatever reason, that, you know, I could wait 5 minutes for the food to get, cooler, so that I can eat it without causing myself harm, but where's the fun in that? I want to eat it now, so, you know, maybe one day. You know, honestly, can I tell you, part of the problem is that I didn't realize, you know, all microwaves are created different. I mean, obviously, many microwaves are created the same, but I mean, like, you know, from the same brand and etc. But, you know, every microwave you have will be different. So these lunches that we got that I've talked about ad nauseum, I guess we're just gonna... No, there's so many tinted rocks. Let's try to get some. These lunches that I've been talking about that, you know, we have delivered and then we heat them up ourselves, they've been like, hey, microwave for 2 to 4 minutes depending on the strength of your microwave. So, you know, I microwave the first one for 3 minutes and then it comes out and it's like molten magma. Just need one bomb to kickstart the whole thing. So there's been an adjustment period because previously, and you can go back and fact check this if you want, I've been of the opinion that, like, you could take my microwave away and I probably would basically not even notice. That was true until recently. Please. That's very nice, but also that having a penny would be sweet. Okay, we got a single bomb. We can actually kickstart the... I don't know why in my head I've got, like, Motley Crue. Ooh... Kickstart my fart. When we finally farted, all we needed was some gas. Some jeans got by, I'd say we ripped some. Sorry, I'm trying to delete it. There's another tinted rock around here somewhere. Just give me 1 sec to find it. You don't need to come and confess. We're looking for you. We're gonna find you. So yeah, I've been eating like these, you know, sometimes there'll be like some fried rice, for example, and it'll like, is basically like dipping into a bucket of lava in the middle of Minecraft. You know what I mean? There was I thought for sure there was another tinted. Oh, let's go. But then you're like, why don't you just cool it down? Nah, sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. Couldn't possibly. Just eat it right away and then deal with the consequences for a couple of days afterwards. You know what they should make? They should make an anti-microwave. Now, I'm being a little facetious, but I'm also like, this is one of those, like, just kidding on less moments, right? Like in 7th grade when you were on ICQ, and you'd be like, hey, want to go to the dance with me? And then when Elizabeth didn't respond for 20 minutes, you go, hey, sorry, my cousin got on my ICQ and was causing, he was just trying to, he was just having a laugh. I don't really want to go to the dance with you unless... Not that that would be like a true story or anything. Where was I going with this? Oh, yeah, they should make an anti-microwave. Now, I'm not saying it necessarily has incredible, you know, business associated with it, because you could always just microwave your stuff less. But occasionally, you like... I'm not going to say it un-overcooks food, because that's like a chemical change, or let me rephrase. It's a change that's hard to reverse. I don't know if it's a chemical change so much as a physical change, I guess. I haven't been in 10th grade science for a while. However, what I will say is that, you know, there's just, or you know what you could do? What if you just put, on microwaves, you put a setting to cool? You know? Oh, I accidentally microwaved my Hot Pocket for, like, 40 seconds too long. You put 40 seconds in, you hit like a button that looks like a snowflake, and then it comes out at the perfect temperature. I know that people are probably making like a lot of very compelling arguments right now about how that's like actually scientifically impossible given the way that microwaves work. Yet we used to think a lot of things were impossible, you know? If we thought like that, you know, we never would have landed human beings on the moon, you know? If we thought like that, never would have invented the Ziploc bag. I mean, come on. A bag that has like a built-in silicone zipper? How? And then with the flavor lock technology added on top of it, don't be ridiculous. I don't think we're gonna get out of there without getting hit. I hate to say it, but I'm telling you, add a cool set. You know what? I'm gonna let's make this our tweet of the day. Sometimes I tweet things during Isaac episodes. Partially, you know, it gives me the ability to audit my social media presence and see how they're doing. Right? So we're gonna just hit it right here. One sec. Yo, why don't microwaves have a cool setting for when you accidentally heat things up too much? Let's see how people respond to this. One thing I've learned is that if you really want to be told your idea sucks, just go to the internet. According to the internet, there has like never been a good idea ever. Like the last good idea was making Dragon Ball Z. And even then they don't like Dragon Ball GT. Everything else, they're like, well, why would I drive a car when I've got a perfectly good penny farthing bicycle already, you know? LOL, people are gonna... You really expect people to drive around and put unleaded gasoline in their vehicle? From where? The gasoline depot? The closest one to me is many farthings away. Yeah, I don't know. Farthing, I think, is currency, but... You're all about, here's the reasons why that won't work, okay? You're never about, here's the reasons why it can. We're a solutions-focused organization, not a problem-focused organization, okay? We try to solve problems people don't even know they have. I'm still thinking about it. I'm waiting for some private equity to get involved as well. If maybe, you know, somebody reading this is like a big time, you know, they own their own engineering company. You never know, dude. This might be the last Isaac video you ever see. You'll be like, what happened to NL? And then 6 years from now, you're going to get a microwave with a snowflake button on it. And you're going to be like, yo! You're going to get a little twinkle in your eye. And then like 99% of the buttons on your microwave, you will never use it. You will only use the buttons that are like, you know, time and maybe defrost. Or inverter turbo defrost if you really want to be a little bougie. Like, I don't know about you, but I never touch the... There's like some buttons I touch on the microwave. The great, and some buttons that are like button non grata, you know, I would never touch them. The great comedy of life is that every microwave built after like the year 2000 has a popcorn button on it, but every bag of microwavable popcorn says do not use the popcorn button. It's like, it's some kind of arms race between General Electric and Orville Redenbacher. It's like they get 5 cents every time you press the popcorn button or something. I don't understand it, but anyway. What buttons do I use on the microwave? I use the numpad. Disproportionately, though, I definitely use the 0 button. I would say the 0 button is probably the most pressed button on my microwave, followed by start, and then 1 gets a lot of use as well. 1 minute. There's, like, there might be 9 functions on my microwave. I don't know what any of them do except for inverter turbo defrost, which I never use because I defrost all of my frozen meat the same way everybody else does, by running a bath of slightly warm water and then leaving the food in it for like 17 hours. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're going to be doing, by the way, we're going to be doing a lot of sack dagger usage here. And if you don't respect it, I understand, but just get used to it. We're probably going to hemorrhage a lot of HP doing this. Never really thought about how few functions I actually use on the microwave. It's pretty crazy. Like, if my microwave had a dial that you turned and then a button to start it, and the dial set the time, I would... it would be the only button I would need to still, like, maintain the use of the freaking thing. Like, I know there's power settings on the microwave. I don't touch them at all. I'm like, just blast it with the maximum possible radiation. You really think I'm gonna microwave something on low for 3 minutes when I could put it on high for 22 seconds? And have the outside of it be, like, still frozen and the inside is like, you know, Halley's Comet? Now that I think about it, Halley's Comet, is it... I mean, riddle me this, scientists. How is a comet supposed to be a flaming ball of rock and minerals when space is so cold? You don't even think about these things for like 2 seconds before you start believing them, huh? I almost made a tweet today, by the way. I don't think it's a controversial tweet. I think it's just... And I was joking about that last bit, obviously. But I think it's more just like a stupid tweet, and I didn't want to invite the perception that I'm as dumb as this tweet would say that I am. But I had it all drafted up. I just didn't hit send. I gave it the one last, like, check with my central processing unit before I sent it out, and it was like, don't ruin your Thursday like this. And the tweet was, it was to Pfizer, you know, the makers of the little blue pill, as well as one of the COVID vaccines. And the tweet said verbatim, "Hey, I was just wondering if you guys could release the recipe for the COVID vaccine. I've got a day off on Saturday, and I was hoping to make a batch at home." I worry that the joke is, let's just be honest, like, you get the premise of it, is that, like, I'm so stupid that I don't understand you can't make it at home. That's basically the bit. The part of the humor of the joke is that it's not funny at all. I just worry that, like, you know, Pfizer would see that and be like, hey, Twitter, can you, like, nuke this guy's account? I don't know, maybe. Maybe that was paranoid. It was more like, I don't think it would actually be funny, but not funny. But what if they replied, dude? Can you imagine making your own vaccine in a pot on your stove? People would be like, it tastes just like the real thing. You also have to be more careful. This is something I've realized. You have to be more careful when you make jokes about controversial subjects when you have a child. When you do not have a child, you can basically say whatever you want, and people are like, ah, whatever. Even if he believes this obvious thing that he doesn't believe. Sure, we'll take. We actually have great damage. Now, at least. At least he's only harming himself, you know, but now that you have a kid, you're like, excuse me, for lunch, I thought I would have some broken glass, mixed with some poison. People are like, somebody call child services. This guy's eating glass. You can't eat glass. Are you crazy? So you gotta, you gotta slow your roll on that a little bit. You know, people, it's funny when you have a kid, everybody else loses their sense of humor. I feel as funny as I've ever been. Perhaps, to be honest, constantly getting funnier every day. Maybe by the minute. It's hard to tell. I don't pay attention to it that closely, but. Other people are like, oh, when you told that joke about you eating poison, that was kind of funny, but now you got a kid, it's actually worrisome. And then they hit you with something like, NL, in our defense, there are people out there who are really dumb who do eat glass, like that one guy who allegedly ate an airplane. Can you blame us? And I'm like, yeah. It's like, when people are getting on my case, NL, I know you said you were going to make less YouTube videos. You can't blame people for listening to that and then thinking that you're going to abandon your YouTube channel completely despite it being a major source of your income and livelihood, because so many creators over the years have just abandoned their YouTube channels. Can you really blame us? I'm like, yeah, I can blame you 100%. I blame them as well. You know, rip to those creators, but Your Honor, my client's just built different. I do blame you in that one. I do, you know, there's like that law, which is not actually a law on the internet, at least not yet, if you catch my drift, but that anytime a headline is written with a question mark in it, the answer to the question is always no. You know, like, is this a cure for cancer? The answer is no, right? Most of the time. One day, it may be yes, though. I have, by the way, have tried to counter that with all of my clickbait. Every chess video has what you might describe as a clickbait title, but I don't see it as clickbait, but that's because the answer to the question is always yes. If I write, like, worst blunder ever, watch the video. I promise you, you will look at it and be like, you know what? That was not a situation where he got, like, a 1.5 point loss due to a positional disadvantage. This man just, like, left his queen in the middle of nowhere and they took it. That's got to be a candidate for the worst blunder ever. But a lot of the time, you know, so I was going to raise the question here. A lot of the, and I promise it sort of relates. There's almost like another rule that I have, which is whenever people jump to a conclusion and then say, can you blame me? I think about it for about 3 seconds and I go, yep, yeah, I can blame you for that one. For sure. Yeah. Like, don't get me wrong, I can also see how you used a very limited data set to draw a conclusion, but then you're applying that to a situation in which it doesn't necessarily apply just based on, you know, the fact that it's a different situation with different parameters and conditions associated with it. So yeah, like, thank you for asking, but yes, I blame you, yeah. It's not a big deal. I'm not saying, like, you know, get bent. I'm just saying if we're assigning blame in that situation, yes. You would be the first I would look to, probably. Amongst the first, at least. It's a hot one. I think, hear me out here, I think we're going to go hard on this Guppy setup, and I actually think we are going to roll Guppy's head. You're going to laugh at me, but I feel like the straw, that freaked me out because I was just about to take a sip out of this straw. It's like my brain was checking itself. It's like, what straw are you talking about again? The straw was not as good as I thought it was. Our damage was not quite at the point where I was, like, super confident in it. The flip side is that it does allow you to generate some HP off of it, but thinking the flies are going to be pretty sweet here, too. So, take the bombs. We should be at very low risk. You always got to donate a key to the key gods. Everybody knows that. We do have a theme, so inevitably we're going to lose some HP. The hope is that, you know, if we lose it on certain rooms, a Thame could help us kind of get back the HP that we lose. And moreover, we're really just looking for a tiers upgrade. And if we can get maybe, like, you know, 1 to 2 tiers upgrades, like, the whole run kind of becomes a little bit more moot. It should be completely set in stone, by the way. It probably should never have been this spicy to begin with, for that matter. Okay, I could still break even. Did still break even. Yes, it probably should never have been this spicy to begin with. But we did kind of pick up Hemolacria, like, that was just incredibly stupid. Super quickly. Like, we picked up Hemolacria as, like, our first item of the game. So you kind of have to build your run in alternative means from that point onwards, I think. Anyway, I don't know why I'm trying to justify. Like, we're it's not fair to say we're in no danger, but we're very low on the danger curve right now. Now, it could pick up pretty quickly thanks to the fact that we have low HP due to 9 lives, but it could also get, like, automatic win territory with a single deal with the devil. I just want to see if this is Algiz. It was not Algiz. So this is, like, the worst boss fight. Anytime you're a little light on HP, I honestly, in my heart of hearts, think that they've coded somewhere in the algorithm, they coded in, if you're low on HP, you're more likely to fight Matriarch. I know it sounds like a conspiracy theory. And there's definitely the potential for, like, observer bias. You know, you're more likely to notice who the boss is when you're low on HP, and this is the hardest boss. At this level, at least. But I truly, genuinely believe it. I think they built this in as, like, a streak killer. I don't want it. It's a bit spicy not to take it, but I don't want it. Hopefully we just get a deal with the devil on this floor regardless. Anyway, you know, we should check in on that microwave cool button again. You never know. Let me just see. Let me just see if somebody else already took it. Yo, that's incredible, dude. Okay, before we open these. Yeah, just reverse the microwaves. It's called the fridge. Yeah, let me just throw my Hot Pocket in the fridge. Be back in 3 hours. Thank God I wasn't hungry in the first place, which explains why I was using the fastest kitchen appliance to prepare my food. Reply. Canadian man invents fridge. Yo, so people are dunking on me for this, but they dunked on Elon and still do. For good reason as well. But we also, Malf and I came up with an incredible idea on Monday's NLSS, and we're getting nothing but flack for it, as pioneers so often get. There's hot sauce. Makes your food hotter. Nobody is taking the opportunity to invent cold sauce yet, dude. Food that makes your sauce that makes your food colder. Now, technically, like any sauce that comes from the fridge is gonna make your food colder, but that's not really what I mean. Like, hot sauce doesn't make your food hotter, it makes it have the taste of being hotter, right? Of being spicy. Cold sauce is just a sauce that makes your food feel colder without actually being colder. Why would you want that? I don't know, you never, like... You wouldn't eat, like, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups with cold sauce on them? So it tasted like they came right out of the freezer? I don't know, man. But they weren't, like, frozen, so when you bit into it, it was like a chocolate ice cube? I don't know, dude. I think it sounds pretty sweet, honestly. And, quite frankly, I think the dragons will regret saying no to my idea. I think it could work. Now, the beauty of cold sauce as well is that they already make it. All we need to do is start taking the cheapest Crest toothpaste and then I mean, you could take it from there. Rebottle it. Call it something ridiculous like Yeti's breath. and then we just get some influencers involved. Like, if we could get Sean Evans to do like a sponsored Hot Ones, where he interviews like Sir Edmund Hillary, the first guy who climbed Mount Everest. And, well, probably not the first guy who climbed Mount Everest, because didn't he have, like, a Sherpa? Anyway. That's a little messed up. We don't need to get into that. I don't know. I'm going to look more into that after this video's done, though. And Sir Edmund Hillary eats, like, chicken wings doused in cold sauce and goes, "This is colder than the summit of K2." And then, from that point onwards, people will be getting cold sauce loot crates. Once a month, it delivers the coldest sauces straight to my doorstep. The abominable Snow Bro sauce. Nuclear winter. Yo, bro, have you had nuclear winter? Got me so constipated I had to use drain cleaner. Okay, anyway, that's not funny. You have a child. Okay, hello, Tomo. Tomo, you'd like to leave the room. I understand. This is sensitive content, buddy. Okay. And now, wouldn't you know it, after all that, I'm on top of my freaking headphone cord. It's top of my freaking headphone cord, dude. I don't know how it happens. You're sitting still, and you end up on top of your headphone cord. How does this make any sense to you? Some headphones have a tiny little piddly cord, maybe 6 feet. Some headphones have a cord that is outrageous. Meters and meters, what even is one of those? This reminds me, actually. So, a human being, throughout the course of the scope of a single day, is at their dumbest right before they fall asleep or right after they've fallen asleep and immediately woken up afterwards. I think this is... We hold these truths to be self-evident. You know the rest. Last night, so I was really tired last night. Like, when I went to bed, I was like, I'm out. Like Kevin O'Leary on Dragon's Den, because he's got no liquidity. I woke up about maybe 10 minutes after I fell asleep. Kate was still awake. And I remember, and there's no way to justify this, but I remember pulling an earbud, because I sleep with, like, you know, Bluetooth earbuds in. I pulled an earbud out of one of my ears and went, "Hey, do you need one?" And then she went, "What are you talking about?" And I said, "Oh, I just woke up because I thought you maybe needed an earbud." And she said, "Those are your earbuds." To which I replied, "Don't worry, I've already got one." And I tapped the earbud that was still in my ear. And then she said, "No, your other ear." And I went, and then I went back to sleep. I have 100% memory of this conversation. Why did I thought she needed an earbud? I don't know. I honestly... I wish I could put myself back in the mindset that I was in when I woke up and so urgently thought my wife needed to, you know, have one of my earbuds. Can only imagine that maybe I had a dream that was like... My wife was like, "Help me! I don't have an earbud." And my brain was like, this seems like something he needs to wake up and deal with. It's very strange, though. It's like almost like having half of your dream while you're still awake. I would not be surprised if I sleep talk. Especially, like, I've said this recently, but like when you have a newborn and you're waking up at like such weird hours every single day, like you remember your dreams way more, and you realize that your dreams are just so illogical, like every single day, right? Like, what, I have 2 recurring dreams. I've talked about them a lot. One dream is that I'm teaching in South Korea again, but it always is like, it starts with me on the airplane, and then I'm like, what am I doing here? And then the announcement on the PA is like, oh, now approaching Incheon International Airport, and I'm like, ah! And then the other one is very weird and always leaves me in like an emotional funk for like half an hour after I wake up. It's like, you know, I have murdered somebody. The murder didn't take place in the dream, but I know that I murdered somebody, and then, like, basically the dream is just being in the deep end of a sense of, like, drowning guilt, waiting for someone to discover it. And then I wake up and I'm like, man, I really shouldn't have killed that guy. And then I think about it for 2 seconds and I go, wait a minute, I've never killed anybody. And then I'm like, oh, okay, let's just eat some breakfast. It leaves you, like, weirdly down for the rest of the morning. Maybe that's a manifestation of my deep-seated fear that people will find out I'm actually bald. Anyway, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. See ya!